Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday to you. This is the Eco Investment Update for Sunday, the week of Sunday, April 5th, 2020. It is Easter week coming up, and it is also the time for Passover, Ramadan. A lot of religious holidays intersect here in the midst of a global pandemic. So it's interesting times that we live in for sure as things go virtual in the world of religion too. But I'm not here to talk about that today. I'm here to talk about the strange case of gold and silver. Many people have scratched their head over the last couple of weeks as initially when the worst of the early selling was underway a couple weeks ago. We had a terrific plunge in silver and gold. I think silver went down to 12 something temporarily. It's of course bounced its way back up and moving towards the $15 level and moving higher, and gold is approaching its recent recovery highs. But it's very interesting to look at the behavior of these markets, because the spot market, or the market of physical purchasing of gold and silver, is in turmoil. The futures market, or making bets for future prices and having to come up with delivery to settle contracts, has been in an uproar too. Planes haven't been flying. It's been impossible to really get gold on flights. Gold, yeah, believe it or not, travels on commercial flights around the world, just like any other thing in the cargo department. And lately, they've had it's been incredibly difficult to move gold from country to country and location to location. Isn't it amazing that a lot of these countries, they're not satisfied with making a bookkeeping entry? Okay, we'll just say that you owe me the gold when you get a chance to, and I'll just mark it down that we have possession. We own it, but you're storing it. No, they've turned to resorting to arranging charter planes to carry gold around. The lack of faith in the fellow man is shocking. Why wouldn't we trust other countries? Yeah, well, yeah. The point is, if you walk into a bullion dealer or a coin shop, online precious metals dealer, you're going to see virtually every silver bar, no matter what size, 1 ounce up to 100 ounces, sold out. Okay, there's been such a tremendous run on purchasing the available silver that they have stripped out the immediate market. Same thing for gold. And yet, in the face of what should be demand that's unprecedented in modern times, we have a gold and silver market, futures market, which barely budges on a daily basis. Very interesting. I've never seen this in my lifetime. That street level demand and the prices that they're obtaining on the street in real world is far above. People are paying $17, $18, $19, $21 just to buy your silver eagles and things, and yet the futures price hovers around 14 something. It is a strange world indeed. And it makes me think of a comment that a couple countries made when they discussed the possibility of returning to a gold standard sometime in the future. They tended to agree that there wasn't enough physical gold in the world, and the market was not liquid enough to really support gold as a backing for currency. Well, on the face of it, that's absolutely ridiculous because it can be monetized at a value that it could back up every piece of paper in the world, provided the it was done in the proper. Maybe it's $5,000 for an ounce. Maybe it's 10,000. Maybe it's 100,000. Who knows? But the point is, gold sits out there and silver sits out there as beacons that obviously people want to grab, including countries too. But we have this screwed up overhang of the COMEX, the futures market in New York City, and other places. So it's it's very strange to me, and it smacks of, well, I hate to say it, government manipulation. The worst thing you would want to see in a pandemic like this is gold and silver going through the roof on the commodity market, because it would get the headlines. Gold up $100, $200 an ounce. People would be freaking out, okay? So it's very easy, since the government considers the market easy to manipulate. It's very easy to use some of the big commodity trading houses and some front companies to go in there and do what they need to do to keep a lid on futures prices to keep things under control. But you should be aware of one fact, and one fact alone. When the going gets tough, what did people in the real world do? They grabbed for gold and silver. Isn't that amazing? You cannot overturn thousands of years of human nature. You can sit back and call it the barbarous relic. It's useless. You can't eat it. But boy, isn't it amazing that people want it. And they want it bad. And they've stripped out the metals markets. Go to APMEX, go to some of the other large bullion trading outfits. You'll see the same thing. They're stripped out of product. They're willing to buy yours at $3, $4 over what the price on the commodity market is for it. Unbelievable. In terms of commodities in history, we call that a very bullish scenario when the price of the closest is far at the price of the closest, in the physical metal that you can get your hands on is much higher than the price, say, in the market of December of 2020, that contract by $3 or $4. You have a really weird situation, because normally the further out in the future, because of storage costs and other things, you expect to see what? A higher price for future contracts going at. The longer, the higher. Well, we have a market that's called, it's called being in backwardation, okay? And it's typically a tremendous bull signal. So we're going to see how this plays out. If you don't think that governments manipulate markets, you need only go back to the times of the Great Depression, when President Franklin Roosevelt, before the election of before the 1936 elections, before probably a lot of elections, he told his secretary of Henry Wallace, do not let the price of wheat and certain commodities go below a certain level before election day. Okay, wanted to keep things nice and stable before the election. Of course, the government was doing manipulation with gold and the dollar, and setting the value and trying to create inflation. We all know that it was only arming for World War II that really pulled us out of the Great Depression. But that's another story that people sort of know off the cuff well, but there's factual reasons for that. It's enough today to discuss the behavior of this very strange gold and silver market. Well, in my opinion, the government's installing an artificial price control similar to what Nixon did in the 1970s with wage and price controls, trying to keep a price limit on things. And we know over time, once those limits are taken away and once the intervention stops and the manipulation, the price is going to go where the market wants it to go, and it's usually much, much, much higher. So we'll see. Are we forestalling some huge explosive run-up in metals? We probably are. In the interim, you'll hear stories, people had to liquidate metals to get some type of money flowing because the credit markets and things were seized up in the first wave of the downdraft of the markets. Okay? Could very well be. But it could also be that plunge we had, that 1 or 2 day plunge where we dropped down to $12 and whatever, 60 cents on the silvers market. Seems to me that's one of those classic times where the big boys decide we're going to change trend on this market in a big way. And we need to get all these weak holders blown out. We need to put the basket under these guys, drive this price down, get all of their selling in the basket, and then up and away we go. And that's basically what we've been doing since then. Okay, and I've seen this classic move 100 times in commodity markets, where you'll have this big washout that gets rid of all the weak players that panic, ooh, and then the big boys are in there with the basket gathering it all up, and here we are, you know, to almost $3 higher and moving upward. And the cash market, the real world market, is so far ahead of the futures price, it's almost unprecedented. Well, as far as market's concerned, we might have a little more of an attempt to rally this week, and make sure you stay tuned a little bit. We're going to be discussing President Trump's big gamble coming up on the future, where economics meets pandemic and life and death hangs in the balance. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day. Your thumbs up are appreciated. And if you haven't subscribed, hit the bell for all notifications. Subscribe first, hit the bell for all notifications. And please share this on your social media if you think your circle of influence could benefit by these little updates. Thanks so much, everybody.